Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining in today. My name is Chidi. I'm reaching you from Toronto, Canada. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for always coming back. Even though sometimes we just get so fatigued with videos and stories, and you just want to give up, but you guys, you never give up on us. You keep coming back. Today, I have a special guest, but before we even go there, do me a favor. YouTube has told me, like I say always, less than 40% of our viewers are subscribed to our channel. Can you imagine that? We have over how many million viewership, but we have 75K subscribers. So, you know what I want you to do? I want you to pause, make sure you subscribe, but more importantly, make sure you share this video because people need to see and learn about what we're doing and what you two are doing, what we all as a group have been doing. So please share the video, like us, leave us a comment, click the notification bell, all those things that we keep saying all the time. Please do it for us. And in the chat room, when you respond, sometimes let us know where you are reaching us from. Today, like I said, we have a very special guest because there are people that they are, should I say, they are shy or they don't like to blow their trumpet. They are quietly doing what they're doing in the background. They provide so much awareness about what is going on. They sacrifice a lot of their time and resources and so many other things to see that some positivity is brought to limelight about what is going on in their environment, in their community, wherever they find themselves. And this is the kind of person that I have as my guest today. So make sure that you invite everyone. I'm gonna um, I'm gonna go and bring in our guests. Let me go and do this properly, and then we will be able to bring in our guests. Um, but she is somebody who I have known for a very long time. And you guys know when we bring somebody here, that person is already pre-approved. So we've done you the we've already gone ahead to do the. Oh, okay. Hold on one second. I'm trying to bring her screen in, and then I will announce her name. But you already know who we have today. But let me fight. I usually fight with technology a little bit, and then we'll bring her in. So don't go anywhere. Just hold on. Just hold on. I'm almost done. And okay, let me come to this side and do mine too, so we're the same size. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I present to you my guest all the way from London, England. This is Susan West. Susan, I hope you are muted. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask you to. Okay, please, um, go ahead. Go ahead, Susan. Can you hear me? Oh, but I don't think we can hear you. No, we can't hear you. Check your device, the earpiece. You can hear me, but you are not coming through. Sorry, I should have done a lot of tests before now.
How
Um,
about now?
Beautiful. Now we can hear you.
Right, right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sorry about that.
No, no, my fault. I should have done this much earlier. So, Susan, thank you so much for coming to our show today.
Thank you for having me.
How's London, England?
It is cold
Is
and
it?
grey.
How's the Queen?
Oh, the last time I checked, she's keeping away from everyone else.
Oh, wow. So, how my Niger people now?
Oh, we plenty, we full ground.
Wow.
We're all we're all right. Niger people here in London are fine. We're fantastic. We're
Abi,
keeping warm. We're keeping safe.
Yes, so say we can switch from here to here immediately. When they want, if they want pigeon, we'll give them. If they want the proper one, we'll give them. But
Absolutely.
Susan, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show today. I know you don't do this often because you are busy getting to interview people, searching them out, doing that. But yeah, you thought we were just gonna talk. I said, no, 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 no. You need to be interviewed. You've been doing this forever. So today I want people to get to know you and to get to know, how you do what you do, and they are itching to find out. Some people are like, who is this Susan that Chidi will just go and who is Susan? Because when I
I know,
bring
right?
people, I do a lot of work to bring them on the show, and our guests are, oh my God, they are very, very, the way they criticize you and they analyze you, and you better make sure you know what you're doing. So,
Well,
Susan,
I do hope I meet the expectation.
don't worry, you will exceed it. I trust me. Just trust me. So, Susan, let us start from where we normally start on our show. Um, who is Susan West?
Oh wow, who is Susan West? Susan West is many things. She's many things. She's a singer. She's a television and radio presenter, and I'm a producer. And I'm a mother, an entrepreneur of many years.
All right. Where is she from? Where? How did she? Yeah. Tell us where you. What's your background? Where's your
Right.
roots?
I'm an Ijo girl. I'm a
Hmm.
Calabari speaking Ijo ethnic, you know. So I'm from Rivers State of Nigeria, and I have lived in Port Harcourt, Lagos, and Abuja before relocating to London.
So you mean you're an Ijo girl? Okay. So let me hold on. You mean like Ijo, like brought up, like say you can even still speak the language?
I speak Calabari.
Oh yeah. Fire
Calabari
on
is an
now.
Ijo dialect.
Fire on. Make we hear. Just tease us a little bit.
Tobra. Tobra means how are you?
And I'm
And if you
supposed.
wanted to respond to that to say I'm fine, you say Ibin.
Okay, so it being. So just tell us about your people, like in a few sentences, like hail your people. Like if your people are listening right now, like just hail them in your language. Communicate with
Okay.
them.
Okay. Oh Lord, Chidi, you put me on the spot here. Oh,
You have to come prepared when you're coming here.
in my language, when you meet people,
Yes.
you just want to greet them in you just want to greet a group of people. You say arosimo,
Mm,
arosimo.
mm.
That is
No,
so.
no. See what I'm saying? Like, if my people were here,
Mm,
I would try to be proud in. I say, anyị nwa bụ ndị Igbo, that is, onwere dị onye, that is, anyị nwa
okay,
bụ the
let, let
greatest.
me
Like,
let me let
ah,
me now tell you that I can actually hail in Igbo language more than I can hail in. I
really?
would say Anamakele Igbo Kwenu, but unfortunately, I can't remember how they say that in my language. I'm so sorry.
I know I put you on the spot. I didn't prepare you for this, but it's all good. It's all good. So this is your girl. How 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 did you start off? So you were born in Port Harcourt, I guess.
I was born in Buguma. Buguma is my hometown. I was
Oh,
born in Buguma. Buguma is a beautiful city. Calabari, of course, I'm Calabari now. It's a beautiful city. It's a very tiny, tiny little town, but it's so beautiful. We call it New York of Nigeria.
really?
Yes, we
Wow.
are very proud people. We
Tell
are
me.
very sophisticated people,
Exactly.
and we are quite warm. We receive people really well, strangers really well, and are very open to associating with people who are not necessarily from the same ethnic background as us. So that's the kind of people we are as Kalabari people, as someone from Buguma. Yes.
You see, did you hear what you started saying? We're proud people. That's why I know, because that's one thing about people who identify as really Africans, people who are culturally aware and advanced, I would like to say. You always hear them talk about pride and being proud of where they come from and all of that. So when you just started saying we are proud people, I can relate. And so, yeah, continue. We want to hear about your primary school, your secondary school. I'll tell you why we do this. I'll tell you why we do this. We do this because it's a test. We want to test people's authenticity. People
Hmm.
just drop out of the sky and they're like, "Oh, I'm this," and we're like, "Okay." We want to see how, because you are a product of your environment, your experience, and all of that. So we kind of want to see through your life, like a summary of that, and then that might make us decide if what we're seeing is really authentic. Okay, so that's what
Right.
we're trying to do. So take us
Right.
on this
So
journey. Yeah.
I went to a nursery school called Abbott Nursery. Abbott Nursery was in Bugoma, in my hometown.
Okay.
And then I went on to attend Port Harcourt Primary School. Port Harcourt Primary School at the time was the best best primary school.
Of course, that was the only primary school in Port Harcourt. We know. Just go on.
I'm not sure it was the only one, but it was the best.
Like my secondary school, there's just DMJs and the rest. My second,
Right.
yeah. So I understand. Go
And
ahead.
so after my primary, I went on to ACMGS Elele Girls, which is
Oh,
Archdeacon Crowder Memorial Girls School
yeah. I know
in
about that one.
right in River State. And then of course after I went on to write my no, I actually went off for 1 year to Lagos to visit my dad on holiday. And
Hmm.
my dad had decided after my SS2 that I wasn't going back to Port Harcourt. So I ended up in Lagos and attended actually didn't really attend a full school because it was too late at the time we my dad decided that I wasn't going back to Port Harcourt. So he had registered me to write my um, WIEC in a school called Opebi Grammar School, which is not so far from where my dad lived. And so after that, of course, then I went on to visit my relative in Oko Polytechnic.
Ah, okay. So we're entering the business part. So you came to Anambra State. Continue.
Right. So I came to visit because I had just finished writing my SSCE.
Yeah.
And as fate will have it, I was just told you're not going back. You're gonna try to gain admission into the school, which is where I met you, Chidi. That's a while ago, I think I was just about turning 17 at the time. And so, of course, I was in Oko briefly, very briefly. And then I left Oko and went on to the University of Abuja, where I studied
Hold on.
sociology.
Just hold on a minute. I've never connected that part. The Oko part. Okay, you were at Oko, and oh yeah, and we were doing all these Bam Jam shows and all of
Look
that.
at you. I can't believe you didn't even remember.
Oh my God! It was only the Abuja. Okay, you see why it's good to go back. Jesus Christ!
Let me refresh your memory,
Please
Chidi.
do, please do.
You were in Thriller with my sister, my stepsister.
We're in
And
Bam Jam show. We're doing Michael Jackson Thriller and all that.
right. And then I came out of nowhere the very first day in school. I think there was a symposium in school.
Yes,
And I think at the time, the minister of the FCT, Jeremiah Oseni,
yes,
was in Oko at the time.
yes.
And so I was just fresh in school, and I walked into the hall and they were having rehearsals for a show for later that night. And so I said to them, can I sing? And everyone just said, yeah, because funny enough, everyone there spoke Igbo. Only me was speaking English. And so they used to make jest of me. So I went on stage and I did a cappella, Lean on Me, and the entire school just erupted and I became very popular in school.
The thing is, the thing is, I was in University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, but we had started a revolution because we felt everywhere was boring. So we started this BAM Jam group, and we would talk. You see, people didn't understand. It wasn't about making money, but we felt there was a need to bring about a new phase in school. So we radicalized, music and show wise, UNN, ASUT, IMT, Oko Polytechnic. So, okay, that's good to hear. So,
Right.
continue. Now I'm getting more excited.
Yes,
So,
so I wasn't there for too long, and then I went off to back to Lagos
okay,
and started working as a car sales representative for a company called CarLink. You
okay,
know, that was my very first job that I got paid to do. And so, whilst I was working, because music has always been something I I was born with. Like even before I could really understand music, I already could sing. So everywhere I went, for some reason, people just picked it that I can sing, and so they
yeah,
tried to encourage me. And so whilst I was working at Carlink, I was also in the evenings going to different places to sing, and sometimes I would do backup singing for some famous people, like at the time Daniel Wilson, Oritz Williki, um, Majek Fashek, and
whoa,
Raskimono, all these people, I was very young, and I would sometimes, of course, what's his name now? Sonny Neji, Dede Mabiaku,
wow,
all these people,
wow,
and they will invite me after, when they have studio work to help them with voicing, and I would do voiceovers for them. And so, I began to understand that the very first person actually who paid me for using my voice was Sonny Neji. He had a
wow.
jingle for Uncle Ben's rice. So he had called me into the studio after I had done a backup for him somewhere to do the singing lines. And so when I finished, he counted 3,000 naira and gave to me. And I wasn't expecting to get paid because prior, everyone else that I've worked with or done something for never paid me any money. They never gave
Yeah,
me any
I
cash.
know. I know. They
Instead,
try to make it look like they're doing you a favor. They say, yeah,
right.
we're giving you
Some of them were
exposure.
kind enough, they'll buy you a meal and a drink.
Yeah, like we're going to make you famous if you just we
Yes,
are giving you opportunity.
right.
You
And
see,
so,
the good thing about this, and then a lot of my guests have told me they're like, "Oh my goodness, Chidi, you just took me way back," because they're not prepared for where we go with our questions. But this is very very revealing, and that's the kind of thing I wanted to get out of you, because these are days when people everything is instant, like instant fame, instant this, instant that. So people just wake up, they grab a phone. You have something beeping on your side. I hope it's not. Is there something beeping like a device? It just goes beep beep.
no, um,
Okay. I
no,
just
there's
wanted to make
nothing
sure
beeping
nothing
here.
was turning off. Okay, no problem. Anyways, so oh, actually, you know what? I think it's a timer on my side. Sorry about that.
Right.
Okay, so people want instant things, and when they just grab a camera and they have an Instagram account or YouTube account, they just want to be famous, or they just want to break even, and when it doesn't happen to them, they get frustrated. But we are like, you don't have to pay some of your dues. Look at someone like you. Look at where you're coming from. Look at people that you have sang with. I mean, these are big time people. Dede Mabiako was on our show a while ago, so I know all these people. And man, because when we see what you do, we keep wondering where did all this come from. And so at this point in time, people are wondering, yeah, let us sing, let us sing, let us sing. Okay, so you are going to sing for us. I don't know what you're going to sing,
Oh my
but I'm putting you on the
goodness,
spot
GD,
again.
you didn't
Yes,
tell me
so
all this.
I know. If I told you, then it will not be original.
Right. What
Yes,
can I sing? I should have
yes. Just
prepared
break
a
away in a
song.
song that just you love.
Okay, I'm just gonna sing it. There is a song called Pretend. The reason why I like that song so much
Mm-hmm.
is because we live in very difficult times with
Yeah.
the, the lockdown and all
Mm-hmm.
that, and a lot of people's emotions are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not a gospel song, but it's just a song that just tells you
No, no, no. Just any
how to
song.
manage your emotions basically when things are not going right.
Go ahead.
Pretend you're happy when you're blue. It isn't very hard to do. The little things you haven't got could mean a lot if you pretend. Remember, anyone can dream. It's not as hard as it may seem. The little things you haven't got could mean a lot if you pretend. You find the love you can share, one you can call your own. Just close your eyes, you'll be there. You'll never be alone. Now, if you sing this melody, you'll be pretending just like me. The world is mine, it can be yours, my friend. So why not pretend?
Wow, wow. you see, you see what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm talking about. That is originality. That is authenticity. This is not instant slay queen. Instagram. I want to blow. You know what I mean? No, 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 no. This is it. This is it. This is what we're talking about. Thank you so much. Do you know what joy you've just shared across our channel by that song? Oh my goodness, you sing so well and you sing from the heart. Okay, now I even forgot where we stopped. But that was awesome. That was. I hope you enjoyed doing it like we enjoyed listening to
Oh,
it. Oh, that
singing
that
me is
is.
second nature,
Oh,
so
that is so good.
I always enjoy
That is
it.
so good. Okay, so you were in Lagos and then you left Lagos to Abuja.
Yes. So I was working and of course working with a car company and also
Mm-hmm.
singing at different times when I can. And then I ran into quite a lot of interesting people. When you start jamming at different places, you meet all sorts of people.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I didn't mention that my singing before I went into secular music was always gospel because I was always a choir girl. I was always a choir girl.
Mm-hmm.
So apart from the time when we were members of the Anglican Church, which is where we went when we were growing up.
Yeah, sure, sure.
But when my father found Christ, he was a member of Christ Embassy in Lagos
Okay.
at the time.
Yeah.
And so when we joined him, my entire family, when we joined my dad in Lagos, we started attending Christ Embassy at Oregon Road in Lagos. And so I joined the youth choir, the
Okay.
Royal Teens. And in the Royal Teens, in no time, I was leading the choir. And one of the days I went for rehearsal or a church meeting,
Mm-hmm.
I had gone into the main auditorium and sitting down because the main choir was having rehearsing. So from a distance, I sat down, and it was the most beautiful choir I have ever heard. They were so tight, and so I was just there, dreaming and wishing that I could join them because I wanted to be with the big boys and big girls. you know. And so whilst I was sitting, so somewhere in the auditorium, I was singing out so loud. I wanted somebody to hear me because I wanted someone to say, "Come and join us." So I kept singing, and then a lady walked past me, a sister walked past me, and then she turns around and said, "Oh wow, was that you singing?" I said, "Yeah." She was like, "You have such a good voice. Why don't you join the choir?" And I said to her that, "Am I allowed to join?" Because I was 15 years old at the time.
Yeah.
So, and I thought I was only allowed to join the Royal Teens.
Mm.
And she said, "Of course." And there was no teenager in the adult choir, so I just walked up and joined them. And they asked me what part I sang. I said I was a soprano, and I just started singing with them. And that sister is Sinach. Of course, you know Sinach.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
So,
whoa. You just, you know
so
what, you've been just dropping names, big, big names. I'm like, can we continue? Sinach, of course, everybody knows Sinach.
right.
So she was
So
the choir, um, the choir leader. Eh,
she was one of the lead singers at the
Oh, lit.
time.
Oh, okay.
She was one of the lead singers. The choir leader at that time was called, we used to call him Brother Pirot. His name was Peter. We used to call
Wow.
her Sister Osi at the time before she became the famous Sinach of today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I joined the choir, and in no time I was doing solos, especially with my youth group, and
Yes.
doing, and so of course life takes on you. You begin to experience life in
Yeah.
different ways, and you begin
Yes.
to find yourself. And so when I started trying to do secular music, I will go to different places where different bands were playing. I will run into people who will say, "Oh wow, your voice is your voice is so rich. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this?" I will hear people who are more experienced in showbiz, give me advice.
Yeah.
And so there was a a pilot captain, who played the guitar. And so he gave me a long repertoire because at the time the only songs I knew to sing were church songs.
So,
So when I go into all these places and they're performing, I only have choices of gospel music
I
songs.
know.
So he
Yeah.
gave me this long list. He said, "Go and listen to these artists and learn these songs. So the next time you come, you can sing
See,
something that we know."
I
And
understand.
so yeah, so we became very good friends, and I started scoring different songs. And then they used to always talk about Abuja, Abuja, Abuja. Suddenly this Abuja was feeling like it was some kind of United States of America, like I
Everybody
needed a
had to
visa to
go.
go and visit. So I would plead with him when they talked about Nikon Nuga or
Yeah.
Nikon Hilton at the time. I
Yes.
would say to him, "I would like to go there because the way you guys talk about the Hilton,
Yes.
you know, it's like the place to be. Like once you've gone there, then you have made it."
Yes. Yes.
So he says to me, "Okay, your repertoire is not very rich yet. So before you go there, you must, have a very wide range of repertoire."
Because
Uh,
then Hilton was, you had to, yeah, you had to know your onions for you to come and perform in the Hilton then.
mm, mhm. And so I finally by well, I call it coincidence, but for me as a Christian, it wasn't coincidence because I thought that that was the way I was set up by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
Because
sure, sure.
there was a lady who was in the same choir with me in Christ Embassy. She was a little bit more, a little bit older than I was.
Yeah.
So there was a time I went to spend a few days with her at her house, and I met her husband at the time, and he had a business. He had a business where he was selling, designer outfits and stuff. And I was just having conversation. I'm like, I want to go to Abuja, this Abuja that everyone keeps talking about. I want to go to Abuja. And then he goes, "Oh, if you want to go to Abuja, I have these consignments that just came in. I know quite a few people, and I know you'll do very well selling these things for me because you're very good at marketing stuff." So I said, "Okay." So he gave me two big Ghana must goes of designer outfits, and he gave me two contact numbers
Yes.
that I would reach out to when I get to Abuja.
Mm.
And basically, I was just supposed to help him sell it. Even though I love doing these things and I really did these sort of things with ease. I
Yes, yes.
wasn't so profit oriented.
You just
Like
wanted to
everything
just do
wasn't
the
about money. Like
money.
I
Yeah,
wasn't,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
so it wasn't like I cut a deal. Oh, if I sold this, you give me this. No, he just said to me, go and sell this and give me the money. And I just took it. And I found myself, I went by road to
Wow.
Abuja. Yes, traveled by road to Abuja. And I just called a few numbers he gave me. I went to their offices, sold to them. And of course, as they buy, I will say to them, introduce me to other people who can buy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so in
yeah,
no time, my clientele had expanded in Abuja.
yeah,
But then something happened. This Hilton that I've been hearing about, I was lodged at a smaller hotel, but in the evening I decided I had begun to make some friends, of course.
yeah.
In the evening I had decided to go to the Hilton Hotel, and when I got there, I saw the bar, the Capital Bar, which is the major,
Yeah, yeah,
entertainment hub
yeah.
at the at
At
the
the
at the
Hilton.
hill at Abuja, of
Yeah,
course, at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I went in there and I saw this band playing, and of course, whenever I meet a band playing, the first thing I do is approach them and say, "Can I sing?"
Yeah, I saw this video where you were with people. It's on the internet. I wish I could. I wish I got it from you before now. And I saw in the video you just said, "Can I sing?" Or somebody said, "Go and sing." And then before they knew it, you were singing. I saw that on the internet. I think you posted
Right.
it on
That was
Facebook
that
or so.
was here in London or
Oh,
something.
okay, okay, okay. So
Yes.
continue, please.
So I went in and they gave me the microphone. And of course, when you're anointed with something, you don't really do too much
Yes, you
before,
don't. It comes
the
naturally.
grace
Yeah,
just flows and you're favored and you find favor,
yeah,
So I took the microphone and I sang, and I think at that time I did a high life song because the band was playing a lot of high life at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I did high life, and so they found me very interesting and invited me over again.
Hmm.
So whilst at the Hilton, I ran into another sister, very very brilliant sister. She's such a good singer. Her name was Honors. No, her name is Honors
Okay,
Bisibi.
okay.
Yes, she was such a sophisticated singer at the time. When she sang, we all went. So
Now, pause, Susan. You see what I like about these interviews, and you are exactly where I wanted us to be, because a lot of people just know you with the interviews. We've not even scratched the interviews you've been doing, and now we're just talking about the Susan who has been singing, and this is the part of you that a lot of people don't know. So I'm excited we're talking about this part. Just go on.
right. So at the time, Onos was also a singer at the Hilton. So I had met her singing. So after singing, we got talking. And of course, as singers, we make friends really quickly
Yeah, sure.
amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
And then at the time, she was working for the Honda place. And so we kept, we became like sisters because of course she's also from, I think she's from Bielsa or
Okay.
Delta, but
Yeah.
she's Ejo as well.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so we kept, yeah, she's by Elsa, yeah. So we kept on the sisterhood, if I may call it that. And so one morning or one evening after one of our performances at the Capital Bar, she had called me and said the Honda place was looking for a sales representative for the Hilton desk,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted me to take on the job. And I said, okay, I have experience in selling cars, working with CarLink. I mean, my very first few days working for CarLink, I sold a car of 6.2 million naira
Whoa, whoa,
to
whoa.
someone who just walked into the car lot to just look at something. And somehow I convinced him to buy a car for I can't remember if it's his wife or his sister, the Lincoln Navigator at the time.
Oh my good. No, you look like you can sell anything. So I'm so not
So
surprised.
I was quite confident. So I went on, took the job, and so I became the sales rep of the Honda place at the Hilton in Abuja.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would work in the morning hours till the evening as a car sales representative, and then work as a singer in the evening. So that became my cycle, you know, and it went on for so long. And one of those days, I was sitting on my desk, and another singer who I had met. Well, I didn't meet her at the time, but she had noticed me
Mm-hmm.
from the days when I went to sing, and so she came to me and said, "Hi, Susan." I said, "Hi." She said she had introduced herself to me. She now lives in Canada. Funny,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and yeah, and she's introduced herself to me and said, "Oh, they're looking for a singer at the Sheraton Hotel, and she would like for me to come and try." And I said to her, "You see, the thing is, I'm able to join the band and just do one or two songs and run away, but to work as a singer, I don't have enough songs to hold the night." She said, "Just come and try." And so I went and I auditioned. And right there and then, I got the job and became a
Wow.
resident at the Hilton at the Sheraton for 8 good years from that night.
Jesus Christ. Really?
Yes.
So you were not living in the Sheraton.
Yes, I was now given accommodation, and I lived and worked at the Sheraton Hotel
And
for
this is
eight.
this is the Abuja that you were thinking about. Now you are like one of the people that okay. So
Right.
family worship center. How did that happen?
Yes. So, Family Worship Center is a church that I knew from a very long time, even before I became a member.
Okay.
Even when I lived at the Sheraton, the Family Worship Center used to hold their services at the Sheraton at the time.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I'll pop into the church. Um, it was at a time where there was a conflict in my life, if you know what I mean. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
working as a singer, living the kind of high life. And so church wasn't so much of a big deal anymore for me. But of course, because when your foundation is rooted in the things of God, you can't really run away for too long,
For
you
sure.
know.
For sure.
And so one morning I just woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go to church today, like for real. I wanted to rededicate my life to Christ. And then I turned up at the hall where Family Worship Center would normally hold their service, and they weren't there.
Oh
And I
my
was
God.
told that they had moved to the Hilton. And I got into the car. I drove to the Hilton at the Congress Hall, attended service with them. After a while, I didn't go back to family worship. I was trying to go back to Christ Embassy. So
Yeah.
every now and then, I will go back to Christ Embassy. I will go to family worship. But then after the Pastor Ina Omako died, who is
Yes.
the senior pastor of family worship at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I had attended his service of songs.
Yeah.
After that, I decided I was going to be a member of Family Worship Center full time. I really liked the way they ran, they did God's
Yes.
work.
Yes.
I really
That's
liked it.
yeah.
So I wanted to be part of where I thought I belonged, and so I joined Family Worship Center. And of course, I cannot join a church, regardless of even if I became the most successful, famous singer, I would
Yeah.
always join the choir because
Yes. Yes.
that's
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
I know best. So
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
went on to, of course, at the time before Christ, before Family Worship Center in
Mm-hmm.
2006, I already started presenting a program for the NTA International called the Susan West Show.
Okay.
And so when I went to family worship, a lot of people looked at me like, "Oh, Susan West," like some little local celebrity, coming to join our choir.
Yeah.
So, I joined the worship team and started singing. And in no time, of course, the pastor Sarah Omako took interest in me after I have been in the choir for a little longer before she really got to like, who is that person? Because there was this Easter, I think it was 2008 or 2009 Easter celebration, Easter
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I had gone for rehearsals in church. I had missed a few days going for rehearsals, and then I went this particular day and I saw them trying out a classical piece by Handel Messiah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
by Handel. So I I saw that they were struggling. Everyone who came out to try the song was struggling, and so no one knew at the time that I could do classical singing
Mm-hmm.
or classical music. So, and I hadn't done that since I left secondary school in Port Harcourt. So I just thought, oh, why are they struggling with this? So I raised my finger, like, can I give it a try? And I remember someone just shushing me, like, oh, because for many days they've been trying and they're struggling, and this person is just coming, and all of a sudden she's like, they didn't want to be taking back many days of the progress, whatever progress they must have made. So
Yeah.
I was offended at the way the person just shished me. So I got up to the microphone and I just took the mic.
I
So
like that.
so I didn't wait for anyone to give me permission to do the song, because I knew that I could do it
Yeah.
better than the people who have done it. So I went ahead, and by the time I opened my mouth and closed it, the
Everybody
everyone
froze.
just turned around and said, "Where have you been?" And so, as usual, I don't know why I do that, but I tend to really shy away when I go to places, and
Yeah.
because I don't want to come across like I'm trying to overshadow everybody else.
Yes.
So
Yes. Tell me
many
about that.
times I will then just be very quiet until I feel like I need to, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but um,
Well.
I ended up doing Handel Messiah for that Easter, and the entire church just went. I remember how people kept coming to me saying, "Oh my goodness!" For a moment, they forgot they were sitting in church. They thought they were in some kind of Broadway, and
We
the
missed
pastor
that.
took.
We missed that because we left in 2007.
Right, right.
We left in 2007.
And that's how Pastor Sarah just took a liking to me, and I got invited to meet up with the German ambassador's wife at the time, who had a choir in Abuja called Amemuso, and so I went
Oh.
to her home. Yeah, I went to her home, and she was playing the piano, and I was singing, and she just
Ah.
went, "You have one of the most rarest soprano voices in the world.
Can I ask you
Only
a
a few
question?
people."
Can I ask you a
Right.
question? There was a presentation, I think it was in the Hilton. Onyekonwenu was there. The minister, FCT minister then was there in that presentation. Were you part of that presentation? It was an African thing. Is this? I remember this.
What year?
That would have been like 2009, 2010, thereabouts.
I'm not sure, but I've been at many events, state events
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
especially,
yeah. It was
where
this German, this lady you talked about now, and what do you call the name of the choir again?
Amemuso.
I think it's them. I just come into Nigeria from Canada, and they
Mm,
just invited us, and it was an awesome presentation. I
right,
met Onyeka Onwenu there in that presentation, but it was very very beautiful. It was
right.
around Independence Day celebration or thereabout.
Okay.
But please continue.
Yeah, so I went, and we tried to do, and mind you, I haven't done classical singing since I left secondary school. So, but the fact that I was able to, somehow bring out that voice again, because classical singing is not the same as,
No, this is not my singing. No,
So we started trying to score a song. She really tried to make me the lead singer, and the face, and of course, a lot of people will be frowning their face like, this one
of
just came from
course,
nowhere, now you're the
yeah.
face of this. But I wasn't interested in being, I just wanted the freedom that I have, which is get up when there's a show, you have the option of performing here and going there, but just to be be a member of something that ties you down somewhere is not really something that have
Yeah, I know.
I,
I
yeah,
know.
so I think she was a little disappointed because she was so excited when she met me, and there was so much we could have done together, but I just didn't really.
No, you
Um,
were not cut out for just tying yourself
right,
down somewhere.
right.
I know,
Yes.
I
So
know.
basically, my time in Abuja from I went into Abuja in for the first time in 1999. And then between those times, I then progressed to becoming a radio and television presenter from 2006. Yes, I had a show called Susan West Show on the NTA International, and it was such a brilliant show. I didn't even know how uh, beautiful, how much people liked it until I didn't want to do it again. Yes, I'll tell you a story. One There was a time I was producing a documentary for the Defense College,
Yeah,
formerly known as the War College. It was the 20th anniversary, I think.
yeah.
And I was called by the commandant of the Defense College to come and help them because they had contracted someone to produce this documentary and it wasn't coming out good.
Hmm.
So he remembered that I had mentioned to him a while ago if I could do something like that for them.
Hmm.
So he mentioned to me, he'd invited me. And so when I went, they had taken interviews with different past, military heads of states, but the material wasn't good, the audio wasn't good, everything was just wrong, and so we had to retake those interviews. And so I was booked on an appointment to go to take interviews from former President Abdul Salami, IBB, and all
Hmm.
the other big boys in the military.
Yeah.
So I went all the way to Mina, to IBB's house, with, of course, with some big rare admirals, all the big boys in the military, whether Navy, Air Force, and all of them. So we got into IBB's house. And just before he came out, everybody was just trying to arrange their uniform,
Hmm.
standing at
Yes.
ES, and all this military thing that me, I'm just a bloody civilian standing there touching this, going around, and they're looking at me that he's coming, calm down. And then I brought out a comb to comb my hair because I had my natural hair and the wind whilst we were driving had
Yeah, yeah.
stayed up, and I was trying to comb my hair, and one of the lady officers was like, "He's coming, drop your comb." I'm like, "I have to comb my hair." So he walked in, and of course he must have noticed that there was a little bit of chatter, and we suddenly stopped talking when he came in. So the top military person there was doing an introduction of everybody, and so when he got to me, before the guy could say, "This is Susan," IBB just goes, "Wait." He was so playful, like a child.
Hmm.
He was like, "Hold on a minute. Uh, Susan West." And when he said Susan West, I freaked out. I was like, "You know my name?" He said, "Of course." And then he started saying, "What happened to your show?" I was thinking he was making reference to NAFDAC and your health, because
Yeah.
at the time
The
I
serious,
was
the very serious shows.
because at the time I was a presenter for NAFDAC and Your Health, and I've been doing that for almost a decade at a time. So I
Wow.
thought he was making reference to NAFDAC and Your Health. He said, "No, no, 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 not that one, not that one. This Susan West show." And then he started talking about the episodes that he was like,
Wow.
"I like that episode about this. I like that episode." I was like, then I realized, oh my goodness, I
You
didn't
see?
know
You
what I
see?
had.
You see that it's very very interesting that you're sounding like this. Two things you said here. When the German lady wanted you to like walk with her and be part of something, and you said you just want your freedom. That's all you want. It's not. And then when you talked about when they gave you things to go and sell, I said it wasn't about the profit. It was just about the ability to just market and sell this thing. That's who you are. You want to be free. You enjoy your freedom. You just want to enjoy life to the fullest, experience life to the fullest, express yourself. And what happens to people like you who are an endangered species, by the way, you get misunderstood, you get perceived wrongly, yeah, and you just keep jamming these brick walls, and sometimes it's depressing and frustrating because why can't people just calm down, just see me, just allow me be, I mustn't
Absolutely.
always come across a particular way. Don't put me in a box or in a bottle. I could do this today and tomorrow I'm not interested. That's just me.
Absolutely.
I want to do something else. I just want to move on. So it's
That's
exciting to see you talk about all these experiences. That is, and you are just confirming what you are doing because you've come out very strong, very authentic. Today we are in the age of YouTube, and there's a lot of bloggers, and people just come out and sometimes they make it because they have lots of numbers and viewership and all of that. So we are not able to separate the pros and people who come with a lot of wealth of experience and people who just arrived in the scene and they're just trying some actually buy viewership and subscribers and just make themselves look big, but they have nothing to offer. So that's why I cherish people like you. That's why I insisted that I have to interview you because you don't give interviews, you keep on interviewing people. So I'm going to fast track and talk about interviews. Now I know because now I see you've done international, you've hosted people on international channel of Nigerian television. So now we understand and we see the how you would have made contacts with people. But then let's go to your channel right now, which is Arise, Rise
Africa
Africa,
Rise.
Africa Rise,
But
Africa
the
Rise.
channel is called is underscore Susan West.
Underscore Susan West. I'm going to post your channel on our chat room right now. Yes, guys, we do this all the time. We need to pause, and I'm gonna make sure that Erica is gonna help us post it. Underscore Susan West. I'm trying to
Oh,
get to the
thank
chat
you.
room because I want people to go right now and subscribe to that. You see why you have to subscribe to that channel? You see what you're missing? This is the real deal, not just anyhow. So underscore Susan West on our chat room. Please go and subscribe. So let's now talk about your interviews. I went to your channel and I was blown away. I'm talking like everybody who is everybody already interviewed them. Like I was, and I thought I had interviewed people. By the time I looked at your channel, I was humbled because every other person I had interviewed, they were in your channel. I saw Charlie Boy. I saw the Sultan was
Emia,
Emir,
former Emia.
the former emir of Kano. He has been interviewed by you, Lumumba, Arikana, who everybody you've interviewed them. So tell us, how did you now shift into talking about Africa? You're so passionate about Africa. You're so passionate about seeing changes in Africa. How did you arrive at that spot?
You know, funny that when you ask this question, it makes me a little bit emotional. It makes me emotional because that's what was my driving force. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, you know, a lot of times when you are younger,
Mm-hmm.
you see things from a different perspective. And as you get older, of course, they say, I think anyone who hits 40, once you get to the age of 40 and you're still in your cuckoo land, there's not going to be
They say,
um,
they say a fool at 40 is a fool forever.
absolutely. So I have been traveling on holidays to different parts of the world, every time, I enjoy traveling. For me, every time I work for 3 months, I have to look for a place to go to. It doesn't matter if it's going to be Ghana, I have to go somewhere and then I come back.
You
Like
can
when I
you,
was in
you,
Nigeria,
you can't
you know,
stand staying in one place.
yes, yes,
I told you at the time I didn't know where you were living because I was always seeing you either here or there, and I was just so confused.
yes. And I had so much pleasure in if I could, I wanted to carry my entire village and take them around the world. That's what I wanted to do. So every time I have an opportunity, I would ask someone who was interested in traveling, who couldn't afford it. If I could, I would say, okay, come, let's travel. Don't worry, I'll take care of the bills. It was
Wow.
just fun for me. I just really loved going to places. And, as when I was younger, it was something that was for fun, just for fun.
Yeah.
Then later on, I began to understand that it wasn't just fun. I was learning a lot as I traveled around, meeting new people, new cultures, people from different, you know, different backgrounds, economically, socially, and of course, people who don't believe who are not Christians like me, of course. And so when you begin to move around, mix up with a lot of people, and certain realization begin to come to you. And then um, when I relocated to London, I have been coming to this country on holiday for a while before I finally relocated, because I met my husband here in London on a holiday. And but I never was someone who was interested in living abroad, to be honest. I wasn't interested in living abroad because I usually would just sit back and think. If I wanted to live abroad, it would have been a very long time ago when I was quite younger. The opportunities were always there, but I didn't. I really loved living back home in Nigeria, but things started taking pear shape. And when I came here to live and work, it was a totally different experience from coming on holiday and spending your Nigeria cash. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
it was the realization was so different. But you see, I'm someone who observes society, and I am quite keen to reading people, even though I don't intentionally do so.
Yeah.
Um, I would just come into a place, and in a second, I can already feel the energy in the room and know who and what, and and basically. So when I started trying to work in this country and moving around, I started having seeing certain challenges that were not things I imagined I would ever face, you know, because back home in Nigeria or on the African continent, there was hardly a time I wanted to do something, or I had an idea that I would go and pitch and not be successful, or at least get somewhere. But when you live in the West as an African, and particularly as a Nigerian, because for some reason, Nigerians are people who suffer some kind of prejudice, even from people amongst their, black people
Yeah,
on the
because
continental.
we're in your face and we're just
Right,
like,
right,
what's the matter with you? Calm down now. Waiting there.
absolutely.
We just arrive and we just say it and we just do it. So we're
That's who we are.
people are like, okay, you know what? They don't want. I don't know what it is. They're is it intimidated or just they can't handle us, but they don't know
Right,
it is just inborn. We're not trying to show it. We're not trying to pretend. This is just who we are.
right. So, when I started, when I started talking, sharing ideas with friends and family, saying to them, this is what I wanted to do. Sometimes some people will laugh at me, like, oh, you don't even know, you just came.
Hmm.
I'm like, I just I just didn't come,
Hmm.
I've been coming, I know this place. So,
Yeah.
just, it's not like I'm a novice or a JJC, so to
Hmm.
speak.
Yes.
So, but, what I didn't understand was the fact that I have never tried to live and work in London.
Yeah. Sure. It's
So,
a different ball game altogether.
right. So, in my experience trying to get a job here working, I wanted to get a job in media. I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. But
Yes.
of course, I didn't realize that it wasn't going to be as easy as
Yeah.
I imagined.
Yeah.
So, I tried attending different programs. I wanted to, because I'm a networker. I like meeting people. That's how I get, So when they will advertise there is this conference or this meeting before COVID, of course, I would register to attend because I wanted to meet people. I wanted
Yeah.
to meet people outside the circle of people that I already know. So I would meet them and say to them, "Hi, my name is Susan. I'm a singer. I'm also a television and radio presenter. I'm a producer." I would pitch. I would say everything that I do just to see whatever opportunities this there might be. But then I started noticing that it wasn't gonna be so easy. So just to prove the people around me who are a little pessimistic about me not wanting to do the sort of job most black
I
people
know
are known
because
to do.
I know what you mean. There's a stereotype.
The stereotype, yeah.
Yeah. Once you come, they say, "Oh no, you're new, so you have to be like this, and like
Yes,
that."
yes.
I know it
So
happens
so
here
me
too.
just sticking it out and like I'm not gonna do that. Not because I'm too proud to do it, but I can't do it. I can't do it because I'm not cut out for doing this sort of job. I will do the sort of job that I want to do, and even if it means um, constantly applying, putting it out my application one after the other. So first of all, the very first time I put out my Nigerian field packed full experience work CV, I put it out online. You know what I mean?
I know.
I have worked all my life, but everything I've ever done is, you see, Nigeria, Nigeria,
Oh my
Nigeria,
goodness.
Nigeria.
Here they will ask you once you put all that down. Say, what about your Canadian experience? And oh my
I didn't
goodness.
care. To be honest, I didn't care because I
Oh
felt
my
like
god.
I could do, and I'm a very fast learner. And
Yeah.
so I always would say to them, okay, if it's something new, give me a few days. I will really pick and if I'm interested, if I'm passionate about it, I
Yeah.
will learn really fast.
Yeah.
I have learned on the job, many jobs I have done in my life, I have learned on it. So I put out my CV and I was shocked. In less than 24 hours, I got contacted by an advertising agency. Um, I didn't even apply to that particular job, but they
Wow.
had seen my CV and they thought it was interesting and invited me over for um, um, uh, uh, um,
For
um,
an interview.
for an interview, face-to-face interview. So what was surprising was I wasn't ready to get a job. I just wanted to see how quickly I could get a job because I came in to London with my little baby who was barely a year old. And if you know what I mean, if
I
you have a little child like
know.
that, childcare is so expensive that
Yeah.
you really have to be very, very prepared to take on a job outside your home. And so I actually turned down the job on the on the basis that the distance was quite very a lot for me to travel from home to work. So
Hmm.
even if I had to put my baby in nursery, it will be a challenge traveling back on time to get her. And so I just wanted the satisfaction that I could get a job that was different from what everyone else was saying I
Yeah,
could
you
do.
wanted to prove to yourself that look,
Yes,
it was possible, because they
yes.
say no, no, no. It's not. You need like 3, 4 years before they will even listen to you.
Yes. So that was quite disappointing because I know how excited they were when they met me. And of course, I was just talking away when they met me. So they knew I was they knew I was the person for the job. But
Yeah.
and so afterwards I decided, okay, I'm gonna gain some experience in this country so that when my CV is being written, I will have some. So I decided I was also again contacted through someone who had recommended me to a company in central London.
Yeah.
Um, this was an insurance company. And so I said to them, I have no experience in insurance, but right now I don't care. I just want to learn and see how far I can go with this. And
Yeah.
so that's the job I was trying to, really put my feet into deeply before COVID came.
Yeah.
And so my idea, of course, at the time was that whatever I was doing was to just prepare me, give me enough time for my daughter to get to the age where I can get up and go, when she starts full time school,
Sure, sure.
So I, I, I had attended trainings, I had met, um, you know, broadcasters, presenters from the BBC, big names from the BBC. And I had introduced myself to them, and I had said to them, I have this idea of a documentary I wanted to produce on Africa.
Yeah.
And this, what's her name now? I can't remember. Helen something. Helen, it's out of my head. She's this white lady who presents on the BBC.
Okay.
And so I had mentioned to her, and she had given me a few names of where I can send my materials to and stuff. So I was actually working on starting a documentary that would have taken me around the 54 countries of the African continent.
Continent. Oh,
It was going to be big.
yes.
So I had booked a ticket to go to Nigeria, starting from Nigeria, of course, which was for the 4th of April, you know,
Oh, wow.
yes, 4th of April. And prior to that, I've been emceeing and comparing events, you know. So I had also compared an event for this insurance company I was supposed to work for, but I got paid because I said to them I have to get paid.
Yes, so
So I did their Christmas party, and then I had another engagement, and this person had um, engaged me 6 months prior for a 50th birthday celebration. So I could have left at some point in March, but I didn't want to disappoint the person. And so I thought, okay, after this um, party, on the next day, I'm going to be on the plane to Nigeria. And so when COVID came and they started shutting down borders, I wasn't having it. Everyone was telling me you're not going anywhere. I'm like, no one is telling me that. Nobody is keeping me here. I am going to Nigeria. It was like it just was a denial. Like it wasn't going to happen because I'd had things planned out. I had contacted Professor Pielo Lumumba, who had at that time given me his, really very resourceful. He had
yeah.
promised me whatever materials I need, he was going to provide for me to, produce my documentary. So, and I've spoken to some intellectuals in Nigeria and, wherever some of my contact that I have,
Yeah.
and some that were new ones that were introduced to me. So when I realized that I wasn't traveling. It wasn't happening because there was no
Shut down
traveling
the
anymore.
borders. Yeah.
And the fear at the time was not even just going, is the fact that I didn't want to be stranded in Nigeria because I have my family here. So being there and not being able to come back would have been stranded. It would have meant being stranded, even though it's my home country.
Exactly. I was going to say that. I was going to say, can you just, I mean, how, imagine how it feels. And it just hit me there when you have to say you don't want to be stranded in Nigeria. It's like, imagine a kid, okay, coming back from a friend's house, or a kid went on holiday to a friend and is telling, I mean, you are the father, the parents of this kid, and this kid is telling his friends who he is on holiday in their house, and he said, I'm going to go visit my house, but me, I don't want to sleep there. I can't afford, no, no. Imagine, I can't sleep in that house, so I'm going to plan this in such a way that by the time it's evening, I'm running back to you people's house. God forbid. It nearly makes you want to shed tears. I'm telling you, once you started talking like that, once you said stranded in Nigeria, it just took the life out of me, because now our country is a place we have to be stranded in.
Mm,
Meanwhile,
sadly so.
this is something you're supposed to be looking forward to, going back home. Like, during Christmas, you want to go back home, to celebrate Christmas. When you're in school, you're waiting for school to close so that you can run back home. Well, we are now sojourners in other people's land, and we don't look forward to go. We can only just go in and do something and dash out
Mm,
because of how they have destroyed our homeland, Nigeria, Africa, and it's the same thing everywhere. Honestly, it just makes me just want to talk about how we got to this point and where they have left our country. It is like we are all here, but anytime I'll give me my homeland, I would live there more than here. Right now, we are sitting at -7 degrees. With the windshield is close to like -15. People don't get it. Ice
mm.
freezes, ice block is 0 degrees. We are sitting at minus minus. That if
Minus.
I keep my fingers outside for 10 minutes, I will get frostbite. That's how terrible it
Absolutely.
is. But I have to live here now. I have to live here. I don't think about going to Nigeria because it's no longer safe.
Mm.
Susan, how did we get to this point?
Sadly, we had a first-hand experience in the insecurity, to the point where before you only heard about it and it felt like it was so far away.
Yeah.
It felt like it was so far away. And being that I had lived most of my adult life in Abuja, Abuja was the safest place to be, the most
Yeah.
calmest place to
Yeah.
be.
Was
And
secure.
suddenly it was the night before we traveled down to London. We were planning to relocate, but it wasn't gonna happen at the time when it happened. But the night before we were supposed to be in London, my husband almost got killed that night by some malams with a dagger, and so um, that was an eye opener. He was in shock. He was in shock because I mean, he was born here. He lived most of his life here. Of course, he has Nigerian experience as well as a young child. But
Hmm.
it became, I think he was, even at the time when he would just come and visit, he just loved Nigeria. You can imagine, I've been married for close to a decade before I relocated here. Why? Because even my husband was excited to come back to live in Nigeria until that experience, you know. So after that night, it was like he just couldn't see himself going back to Nigeria anytime soon because first,
What happened? Why did he try to attack him with a knife?
it's funny. I had I had a few cars, and prior to a few days prior, I decided I was going to sell one of my cars, and so we were going to travel on holiday, and I decided that I had a car that had been packed for such a long time.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, we should just make sure that one is working well before I return because I was going to come back to Nigeria with my kids.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come and then start trying to find out if the car is working or not.
Sure.
So,
Sure. Sure.
so my husband had gone out to fix the car because it's been packed for almost 2 years, not driven.
Hmm.
I was in the United States of America in Virginia. I had my baby, came back. So throughout all that time, the car wasn't driven or started by anyone. So they took the car to the mechanics. They fixed, they changed certain parts and stuff. And so there was a friend of mine who was not in a good place, particularly at the time. She was facing a lot of difficulty emotionally, and I was trying to be there for her. So
Hmm.
she had spent the entire day with us, but she kept going on, oh my God, Susan, I'm going to miss you guys. How am I going to cope without you guys? I wanted to make her happy. So when they brought the car back that evening, I said to her, okay, why don't I take you out? I want to take you out. Let me make you let me let's go out and hang out, have fun, so that you'll be in a better spirit before we leave. So they brought the car, and supposedly have replaced a lot of things. But trust Nigeria. They had put in parts that were not Only God knows whether it's brand new or used. I don't know, but that's they had put in parts that weren't so that didn't work. So when I drove out with her and we were returning, um, I realized that my the car was overheating and not moving. And for a Mercedes, it's a strong car. I've never had to have any issues with that car at any point. So I then called my husband, who was at home with my kids. My daughter at the time was just under a year old, and I said to him, "We're broken down. We're broken down, and we're waiting for the engine to cool down to see if the car is going to start again." So whilst we're packed, it was very dark. It was about 11 p.m. So it was really dark, just close to the stadium on the express, So I was so ignorant of the fact that Abuja wasn't safe anymore like before, like it was prior. So a police van just comes beside me and parked beside me and said, "Madam, what are you doing here? Don't you know where your parked is so dangerous?" This, that. He was just, when he was talking, I didn't even take the police seriously. I didn't take them seriously when they were warning us that where we were parked was not safe. Because I've lived in Abuja all my life, and being that I worked in showbiz, I was a night person as well. I've never had a reason to worry about being out at night. So he said to me, "Just before you got here, there have been some kind of, I'm not sure if he said someone was killed not so far from that area by some people who run out of the bush and rob people and stuff." So I panicked right there the moment we heard that. So when I called my husband thought, okay, oh my God, he's going to have to leave these two kids at home by themselves because it's so late, And so, but we weren't so far from the house, but because there's a large express that cuts through where we live and where we were. So he took a gallon of water, hoping that when he came down, he would just put the water in and somehow manage the car home. And then the police didn't leave us. They were really kind. They followed us until we managed to move the car to a safer position. And so I called my husband on the phone. He came across and saw us and realized that the fan belt had cuts. So they put a fake fan belt or something like that. So someone said to him, because he's not very familiar with Abuja, he's a London boy. So they said to him where to go and get a tow truck. And at that time of the night, he went across the road, and just a few minutes from after he left me and my friend on the side of the road. I mean, I was dressed in bling bling, very expensive person.
Yeah.
And next thing we heard, cars were making a U-turn and shouting, "Run, run, run." They were shouting to us,
Right,
"Run, armed robbers, armed robbers." When we heard armed robbers,
this is inside Abuja.
They were saying to us, "Run, armed robbers." So when we heard that, we didn't know where the armed robbers were coming from because we didn't know whether to go left or right. There was a large gutter in front of us that I would never have thought in a million years I would be able to cross that gutter. But when we heard armed robbers, me and my friend, we jumped over the gutter. Then we got into the middle of the express, and then we realized, where are we running to? We don't know where these people are coming from. So when we were running into the dark, we just realized, okay, just stand in the middle and be sure of where the threat is coming from before you run into the trouble, And after a few minutes, we saw a taxi pull over close to my car. So when the person stepped out, I realized it was my husband. So we crossed back, and we were trying to say to him, we ran away because we heard the other cars passing, shouting, "Armed robbers, armed robbers." He said, "That was me. They were trying to kill me."
Oh my
So
God.
we didn't understand. He was like, when he crossed to the other side, he was trying to get a bike to take him to where he can get a tow truck. Suddenly, everywhere was dark. Suddenly, lights just came on, like 3 motorcycles just lit they turned on their lights.
Yeah.
And when they did, there was this eerie feeling that just went over. He just realized something was not right.
Yes.
He was trying to just keep calm and walk. Then suddenly he saw the other one just bring out, unprovoked. The other guy just brought out a dagger. For some reason, he doesn't know. The Spirit of God, I tell you, the Spirit of God was in total and full control, because he could have not seen it. It was the road was really dark. It wasn't lit.
Yeah.
So but the headlights from their bike had reflected on the dagger, that he saw something silver flash, into his eyes. And soon as that happened, he took off running. So he caught them unawares as well, the way he ran. That they took they started taking stones, boulders, like little small heavy stones, and stoning him so that he can fall down, and because he ran so fast, they didn't anticipate that happening. He ran so fast. So when they didn't get him, he was trying to flag down cars to help him. So that's when those cars were passing by us and shouting armed robbers, because they saw what was going on, but everyone was too scared to stop to help. But this particular taxi driver, who God had assigned on that day to be the angel, he stopped. He was, funny enough, he was also a Hausa man, but he stopped his taxi, and he then gave my husband a ride. Then my husband said to him what happened. He said he saw it. He
Wow.
saw what happened. And so you can imagine that people see it, nobody can do anything about it. These people go scot free. So this man comes with his taxi and takes a knife and cuts off the seat belt to use it to, tow my car. So then we towed the car all the way home, to cut long story short. That night, my husband didn't sleep. His eyes were, he was in shock. He couldn't believe that that could have been the night that he never made it back home. And so we traveled. We were also, everyone was, of course, my children were the kids, they didn't really know what was going on, but my girlfriend and I and my husband, we stayed up through the night, talking about what could have happened, and in shock. And we had a flight to catch the following morning. In all that confusion, we had forgotten a lot of things at home. A lot of things just didn't go right. you know. But when we came here, it was decided after we came here that it wasn't a good, that going back to Nigeria wasn't a good thing at that time, and that was how we relocated unplanned.
Uh, just listening to you, and we have pictures of your family. I've tried to post one or two of them on the screen there. I hope you can see it. Um,
Yeah.
it's very touching. Look at how beautiful your family is, and it's such a sad story where we are. I mean, I don't need to try to impress anybody or take excuse from anybody when I say this, but look at you, look at me. We we can just, like, it doesn't matter. We are just like any other black person, Canadian, or anybody for that matter, American, European. We are at that standard. I know myself, I know you. We are at that level. We've been there, we've done that. But look at us. Just look, just see what Nigeria has. Just see what Nigeria has just lost an opportunity of using. You have left Nigeria, I have left Nigeria, and tons, thousands, millions, so to speak, have left Nigeria. Smart people,
Mm,
intelligent people, people who have influence. I have influence over a lot of people who are white people who are, and I'm not saying this to put anybody down. All I'm trying to
mm,
say is that it's a missed opportunity that is very, 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 very sad, to say the least. Very, very sad. You cry and you cry and you wipe your tears, and you can't cry enough for your country. How low we went. I had somehow, like you said, just God said, look, ask you what happened, because we would have just, waved it aside. Oh, your husband was attacked with a knife, and then some people would have just thought, oh, maybe a malam just ran to him. But look at that experience. Looking at that picture, I'm going to try to put up that picture again. Imagine this is how we would have been hearing another story. You women, I know you're saying, Chidi, why are you putting that picture? You've just had a baby, Susan, so it's okay.
It's all right.
So look at your beautiful family. This is how you would have just, God forbid, but they would have made you a widow just like
Mm,
that for no reason. And this is a place that is supposed to be safe. Not to talk about what goes on in other parts of the country.
yeah.
That was Abuja that's supposed to be the safest place. Now it is all over the place. You are not safe anywhere. The villages are worse. Nigeria has just been messed up totally. And so the same thing you find repeated even worse in other African countries. Just I don't even know where to start. But you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I don't want to go into talking about Africa and politics and all of today is for you. This show I tried. I know it's difficult, but I want to make it about you. And guys, go to Susan underscore Susan West if you want to hear about politics. She has talked politics, she has talked war, she has talked everything, economics. Go there, you will hear it from all the people she has interviewed. Today is about knowing you. And so far, even me that I thought I knew you, I am blown away with all the things I'm hearing. And the reason why I'm doing this, folks, is to for it to be an inspiration to us. I know every day on this channel we talk about things that are going on, but I need us to begin to appreciate the people that are doing these things. People like me, I can relate with Susan because it takes a lot for you to sit down, think about content, then begin to pursue the person. Sometimes they answer you, sometimes they don't answer you. Sometimes it's not easy, and you have to do that and combine that with being. A lot of people don't even know about your family life. They just think, oh, that's Susan. Oh, that no, 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 no. You are so grounded. It's amazing. That's why in the introduction where I was sharing the event, I said you are someone of so many parts. It's unbelievable. Now people can understand what I'm talking about. Some people think, oh, she's just that singer. I'm not even sure she's married. You know that I think she's single mother. She just. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
In fact, let me confess, I've had that kind of discussion somewhere, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't know this person. But to hear you talk about family, talk about work, talk about you're a diehard, very, very hardworking mother, family person, grounded in your culture and everything. You're really an inspiration, and that is why I wanted you to talk about yourself. That's why I wanted young people out there to understand that yes, people like Susan still exist. Yes, they are still there. If not that, they are messing up in our country. Imagine when people like Susan, when people like me, when people like Omoyele Shore, when people like so many of them are occupying positions that they should occupy and being listened to. Imagine you. Do you watch NTA now, Susan? Do you watch NTA now? Do you watch NTA? And that is supposed to be our national television. Is that television that they're doing? It's not. It's not. It's laughable. Imagine when people like you are in those positions. Imagine what it would be. So, Susan, it's been an awesome experience. Where are you right now with things, and what should we expect? Where is life taking you to?
Right. What I do with Africa Rise, when I was talking before we digressed
Sorry,
into
sorry, sorry. I forgive
yeah,
me.
so
You can bring us back.
I
Sorry.
after the lockdown took effect, I just realized that I couldn't wait. I thought it was going to be for a very short period of time, and then the realization of this might go on for a very long time, and I thought I'm not going to sit down not doing anything. So I ring Professor P.L. Lumumba again, and I said to him that I would like to start my documentary thing I wanted to do. I would like to just do a version of online chat, until the lockdown is lifted and normal activities begin to, take place.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, if you would not mind to be my first guest on Africa Rise with Susan West. And I was so honored. He said yes. And I was, it was, for me, it was unbelievable that Professor Pielo, this is someone that I watch his videos like I'm going to church on
I
a daily
know.
basis.
Same with me.
And so, my passion for Africa is the fact that, like I was trying to say, when you live abroad, and when I watch and I see Black people, not necessarily Nigerians, I feel like most of the time when I see them, I want to go to them and hold them and shake them and say, walk tall, like
Yeah, be proud. You don't,
have value.
They walk with their shoulders down and. Sorry, Susan.
I know it's not easy, but I want to if I could, I want to make every African have that mentality that regardless of how I sound, regardless of whether I speak fluent English language, that I am much more, and that my command of English language is not the measure of my intelligence or what I can contribute to society.
No. And you see, I wanted to the point I wanted to make then is a lot of Black people. Okay, let me try to compose it properly. I know there are issues about race and racism and discrimination and all of that, and a lot of people try to, when they talk about it, they ask me, "Hey Chidi, do you feel this? Do you feel that?" And when I try to sound like I don't feel it, they don't get it. It's not that it doesn't happen to me. It's not that I don't feel it, but the proud and the knowledge of who I am and the way I carry myself makes me like, so waiting. If you call me the N word, like, like I'm going somewhere. I have so much to give to even be stopped by all those your funny attitudes. And that is something that when you're talking about instilling this sense of pride in Black people, I can identify with that. I want to let them understand who they are, where they're coming from. In that way, they'll be able to walk with their shoulders high, So, sorry, I keep interrupting.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a conversation, after all.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a chat.
Go ahead.
So, I began to observe, when I go on a bus, when I get on a bus, all I do is observing. I couldn't, there are times when I feel like I should have carried a pen and paper to start writing what I'm seeing instead of trying to remember afterwards. Yeah. And I'll get on the train and it's the same thing. And I remember when I started trying to work with the insurance company, traveling to the Canary Wharf, where the big boys walk, know. So I would see the high class of the society here. And I'm thinking, this is where I belong. I don't belong in doing anything else.
Yeah.
So when I start having conversations with people and they say, "Where are you from?" Sometimes they go trying to be very polite, of course. Where are you originally from? Because obviously you have an accent, And I go, we all have an accent. Mine is just different from yours. They're not saying it in a bad way, but they try to compliment me.
I understand. Yeah.
They're trying to compliment me like they can't figure out where I'm from when I'm talking.
I know.
And because they're not sure, there's a little bit of British accent coming through. There's a little bit of American coming through. And I go, oh yeah, that's because I'm Nigerian.
I know.
And so I remember I will have conversations with, like English people, like white people, in the course of my work. Yeah. And when we're talking, they try to talk But I'm not sure if it's some kind of prejudice they have because they've had experiences, or it's just the way they've known, growing up from their, parents.
Hmm.
But they have this place where they put black people, and then especially Nigerians. So when
Yeah.
I say I'm Nigerian, they just go, "Oh,
Yeah.
you don't sound like them." Let me tell you what, when I was younger, if you said that to me, I would think it was a compliment because my mindset was different.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you said to me, "But you don't sound like them," I would think you're complimenting me. But when you're woke, when you're woke, you
Yes.
begin to see that it's an insult
Oh
to
yeah.
your people. So
Of
you don't
course.
take it like they're complimenting you, like, "Oh, you are amongst those, breed of creatures. You're higher." That's literally what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So I then go, how do they sound? How do Nigerians sound? And then we get into this conversation where I have an opportunity to educate them about Nigeria and Nigerians and how well Nigerians do and the reason why Nigeria is failing. And so everywhere I go, you find me talking, talking, talking. I'm constantly talking about Nigeria and Africa, educating people. And then if they are black people, I find myself trying to be like I'm a motivational speaker. I'm there talking and giving them, trying to push them, like, "Don't take it, don't take that, this is not who you are, this is
Yeah.
who you are," and all that, making people find pride in themselves. So I began to feel the need that I needed to do this on a larger scale, which is why I wanted to start the documentary, um, which was going to take me around the countries on the African continent. But then I started the online chat show called Africa Rise, because Africa Rise is a program that was born out of pure passion for Africans, in the diaspora,
Hmm.
Africans everywhere in the world. Africa Rise is supposed to be a place where you came and got information, educated, and is pumped up to you know believing in yourself regardless of the skin tone that you have, and just having pride in yourself of who you are, where you come from, and nothing to be ashamed of. You know, so that's how Africa Rise came about.
So,
Um,
so we're so what I'm hearing is that as soon as we're done with the COVID, whenever that is, you're gonna be embarking on a tour of Africa.
that's the intention. That's the plan.
No, it will happen. It will happen, really. Yeah, I at this point I wanna talk about family. I want to talk about your hobby. She looks such a very quiet person. That must be a total opposite of who you are. By the way, I want to pause and appreciate someone on the chat room. WSR1 TV CHF. You gave us a tip. I think it's $10. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you so much. I like it when people do. Of course, we all like tips. So thank you so
I
much.
know who that is. I know who that
We
is.
do? Oh, wow. Oh,
He's one of our
awesome.
biggest supporters on Africa Rise,
Oh,
I
my
tell you.
goodness. Oh, you see, you dragged. Okay, Swiss francs. Okay, that's Swiss francs. 10 Swiss francs. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a whole lot of money. About 150. Up to no, 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 not that, but it's a lot of money. But thank you so much. You brought the big fish to our show. Can you imagine that?
God bless him. God bless him.
Yeah, thank
He's
you.
a true believer, and he's a true believer of
Good,
what we do.
good. That is what we want, Susan. So we're you're gonna see. I I I rarely, like you said, when you see people, it takes you a very short time to read them and understand, who they are, where they seem to be going. Same thing with me. I mean, I happen so fast, and that's why I make friends so easily. I network so easily. Like so, for me, I think things are moving so fast. Life is moving so fast that I don't have time to waste. Like I just do whatever I have to do whenever I have to do it. There's a lot to be learned. There's a lot to be achieved that I don't waste time. And people can take it anyhow they want. They think you're so proud. They think sometimes you're snobbish. Sometimes I too know. Say you are I too know. But we have to do what we have to do. And I am rooting for you, Susan. When I know I knew you way back in Abuja, and you even took us way back to school
Oko
days.
Polytechnic.
So all of that, it just reinforces how I feel about you. But when I saw your show and I saw who you were interviewing, I knew you were onto something, and I needed to bring that out. It isn't. That's who I am. I want us to keep pushing ourselves, because we are an inspiration to other people. We're gonna be, and of course, it paid back, because as soon as I got in touch with you and I started talking, now you're connecting me to the people I've been trying to get to them for years, and in an instant, you got me connected to them. So I'm already reaping the benefits. So for the rest of you, me, I don't collect my own. No, if you did, yeah.
Chidi, you're so funny.
People have a proverb that when you climb the Iroko tree, you should cut firewood and come down, because they know they climb out every day. So once I climbed to your channel, I collected the connection, and I'm already benefiting. So what I'm telling everybody, go to underscore Susan West, subscribe, because this is the real deal. We're not talking about, and let's talk about this. I've been blabbing, but let's talk. Why is it that a lot of channels that discuss real issues, the poverty in Africa, the failed governments in Africa, why don't we get as much followership as people who talk about, forgive my French, ladies' boobs, men's this, that? How come? And people who go to these channels are the same people who are going through the things that we talk about. Why do you think this happens?
It is denial. It is that thing where sometimes people's realities are just too much
Mm-hmm.
in the negative,
Mm-hmm.
that they're looking for escape. And when they go and watch those frivolous channels, I'll call them, sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's what they are. You know, when where they have all these things. That's one. The other thing is that's who they are, and for some people, when too much intellectual things are being discussed, it's like overworking a system. They can't be bothered. When we were in school, there were times where a certain teacher will come to teach you a particular subject, and you're wide awake, and you're grabbing everything.
Yeah.
And then the next person comes and probably is mathematics, and everyone, most people switch off.
Okay, I get it.
So yes, in some cases that might be it. For other people, they're running away from their reality. They're tired of talking about it because they feel like it's just all talk and nothing is changing. But something is changing. Something is changing because every time we talk about these things, there's always something to walk away with, which means that there is one part of your mind that has been disabused, or there's a little bit more information that we have given to you that you can walk with, that makes you a better person, or a more sophisticated person, or a more knowledgeable person. So, and of course, one of the things I said to someone who also made mention of this is the fact that if most of your viewers, I would imagine, are people living on the continent of Africa, data is a big issue. Data is a big issue, and they're constantly careful of how they
Yeah,
burn
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
data.
yeah, yeah.
But if your viewers are from living in the Western world, then it doesn't make a difference because we know how it works in the Western world. Unfortunately, that would be one of the reasons why. But of course, again, another thing is I'm not sure about the rest of Africa, but as Nigerians, it's sad that they wait for the food to be fully cooked before they want to take part of it. They don't like to um, they don't like to be there. Most people don't like to be there when you're beginning, when the struggling is. They like to come when the struggling is over and the party begins.
So they're
So
waiting for us
where
to blow.
yes, yes, because
No,
when I started, Africa Rise, I used to get a lot of viewership, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then suddenly, instead of increasing, it was coming down. And I thought sometimes it probably the algorithm, because sometimes we talk about things and the people who have these systems, the Ogas and Mars, don't like some of the things we're doing.
Oh,
So I think it's also
that
manipulated by the algorithm.
no,
Yes.
that one I know for sure. I know, like I know, my name is Chidi. That the guys who give them the money for the big advert, we know how it works. They are not blocking you, but they are protecting the interest of the guy who, because you are using their platform for free. So the other guy
Yes.
who pays them money, they protect that person's
Absolutely.
interest.
Which
Yeah.
is the reason why I am soliciting and promoting anything that is African, especially innovations that will give us the platform that we need as Africans, so that when we share our ideas, our ideals and ideas,
Yeah.
we're free to do so. We're not going to be sanctioned or sabotaged,
Exactly. Like if
because
we had our own platforms that are, just created by us, managed by us, then we don't have to depend on Facebook and Google and YouTube to clamp us down and tell us what they want us to say. I'm
mm,
looking for that day. I'm really, really looking for that day. Speaking of data, I know a lot of people who have been watching. They are like, Chidi, this is 2 hours, so my data don't finish. What is
I
going
can't
on?
believe it. Is it 2 hours
Can you
already?
believe that? I know, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, time runs when you're having fun. It's been a fun time. It's been an interesting interview. Guys, you can see lots and lots of content that is on the Susan West. Please go there. You don't know what you're missing. Look at all the names there. She just interviewed Omoyele Shore, and there's so Aisha Yusufu. She's interviewed her. Name whoever she's interviewed them, and Dele Farotimi. Yes, Dele Farotimi is my partner in crime. When you see my big my big bed. Uh, okay. Oh, that is awesome. I'm even seeing a lot of oh, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Femi Anikulapo Kuti is on her page. Name them: Femi Fani Kayode, Charlie Boy. Oh my goodness! Even okay, Master KG, the person that sang Jerusalem. Okay,
Oh no, that we just played.
okay, you played it. Okay, okay, okay. I've come to a point where people will be telling me, go and interview the. Have you interviewed the prime minister? Like they believe that we can do it, so it's okay.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
Yes, we
can.
can do anything. Wow. I'm gonna give you. I'm trying to get to you now. I want you to give us your closing remarks, and then we will bring the show to an end. But if anybody wants to call, you know the number to call: +1 647 989 2837. But I really want to let her go because we've kept her for 2 hours. So if any call comes in this second, we will take it. Otherwise, we're going to allow Susan to just give us a closing remark, encourage us, and then we will close the show. So, Susan, over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, first of all, Chidi. I just want to say a very big thank you. You made me feel really, really special by inviting me to your platform where you have thousands and thousands of viewers and subscribers. I am really grateful. And I just want to take a moment to encourage us as Black people, as Africans on the continent and in the diaspora to believe in ourselves, to love ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, and to not allow what the realities are that surround us to dictate to us what our future should turn out to be. We should aspire regardless of what our skin tone is or what passport we carry or what backgrounds that we come from. Because I know that I know my name is Susan, that everything that we birth in the real world is first perceived in the spiritual. And
Mm.
so you can recreate your world by seeing yourself where you truly want to be And then as you begin to imagine yourself, and when I tell people that when we dream, I'm not just talking about dreams when we're sleeping, but dream as in when you're awake and you're wishing. Dreams are unspoken words of prayers to heaven. So when we imagine ourselves as whatever we want to see ourselves, these are prayers that are made known to God, because he is the one that sees in the darkest of places. And so the universe begin to align itself to bring you close to, or bring you to that place where you can begin to realize your dreams. And sometimes when they happen, you're like, wow, how did this happen? You forget that your mind ordered it, that your mind asked for it from God, your maker. And so I just want to say to you that as Africans, we should love ourselves. We should embrace ourselves. We should appreciate ourselves, and we should stop trying to tear us down, you know, because until we get to the place where we really love our individual selves, personally, like I have to love myself before I can love someone else. So let's begin by loving ourselves as Black people. Love yourself so that you have enough love to go around.
Awesome. Awesome. Well said. Perfectly said. And once again, Susan, I want to thank you for gracing our channel. We always want to bring someone special on a Saturday, and you surpassed my expectations. We will support you in whatever way we can, and we will keep helping ourselves. Thank you for the support you've been within this short time of rediscovering you again. And thank you so much. Love to your hobby and your beautiful family, your your boy who actually helps you. You're so proud of him.
He's my IT guy.
Your IT guy. Yeah, and the girl. Thank you so much. I love to every one of them. And please keep doing what you're doing. And God bless you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so much.
Susan.
Thank you, Chidi. I'm grateful.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, guys, so that was Susan. Now you can see why I brought her on the show, because you're like, who is this person? Who is this Susan? Is she this? Is she that? Now you can see these are people who quietly are making very, very important giant strides. They don't have to be out there shouting. They don't have to just put on makeup from morning till night and take 20,000 Instagram pictures and have 1 million followers. No, these are people who are making waves, serious minded people. And that's why we bring them on our show, because we're serious minded people too. I know sometimes you're tired of hearing us talk about hard things, but you know what? Somebody has to do that. And thank you so much for your support. That's what keeps us going. And from all of us here in the Toronto studios of Worship Media, on behalf of Dr. Erica, my name is Chidi. And like always, I want you to know that we love you. And please stay safe. Bye bye.